my poem. It's in my nice little notebook. I have it mostly memorized, but not entirely, so kind of glance over here every once in a while. This one is entitled Time. 4 years, 3 months, and 6 days before I wrote this poem, I watched as my grandmother walked across our living room to put on her shoes before my grandfather rushed her to the hospital. What seemed like an eternity before, she's been sitting on the floor, 55, with no ailments other than what comes naturally with impending old age. And then, suddenly, she got a headache. Grandpa told her to lie down for a while, and she told him with all the sternness only a mother can muster, "I have heard an aneurysm described as the worst headache you have had in your life. You get me to a hospital now." He helped her across the room, and she only got one shoe on before she collapsed. The doctor said she was dead before she even hit the floor. She had diagnosed herself. Only my grandmother. The weakest link was located on a blood vessel in her brain, and 55 years of life moving past it had simply been too much. As far as ways you can go, it was unforgiving to those left to grieve with too many words trapped in vocal cords, because why say them when you can't see her expression? But for her, a few minutes unapologetic pain, then nothing, and whatever comes next. She and I never really got along. Well, until I became an angsty teen, clutching tight to experiences I felt I couldn't share, we had gotten along fine. And maybe if she had passed away 4 years, 3 months, and 6 days after I wrote this poem, we would have seen each other better. I would have let go of the monster I was hiding, because I would have learned depression was not a weakness, nor was it something to be ashamed of. And she would have told me of her own battles with that cold-hearted monster, and let me know I never had to fight alone. But instead, there were too many screaming matches, filled with words we wished after could be snatched back, ending with her disappointed, "I don't really think you love me," and my desperate, "Of course I do," never figuring out how to show her. All I did always ended with disaster, even though I had never lost the childhood desire to make her proud. 18 days before I wrote this poem would have been my grandma's 60th birthday. I visited her grave for the first time since I had seen her casket there on a bitter January day. I stood staring at her headstone, with words my vocal cords couldn't hold any longer. I forgive you. I understand you better now. I know there is an after, and I know you're there, and I know you know I always loved you. I stood in the March chill, wrapped in a sweater that had once belonged to her, and felt the comfort I had felt as a little girl curled up on her side, and I knew she forgave me too. Thank you.